Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So, just like the title says, how do I sue Uber? Well, California, stick around and I'll tell you. Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. So, just like the title says, how do I sue Uber? Well, in California, and I'm sure this goes across the board, but obviously you're going to want to check with your state and county and local offices to make sure you do it right. You file a small claim suit. Now in California, the maximum you can sue for is $10,000. Which is exactly what I'm suing for. And as a matter of fact, I went out and filed my case on December 30th, 2022. And there's more information. And it's me versus Uber Technologies Incorporated. Now, there's a couple of things that you're going to absolutely need and make sure of. First of all, when you file, you have to state why you're going to give your information, you're going to give Uber's information. Now, in California, let's cover that first. In California, Uber's information, or what the court requires, is their home office or their headquarters. Well, in California, that's their headquarters in San Francisco, which is 1455 Main Street, Suite 400, San Francisco, California. And I don't remember the zip code off the top of my head. That is their main office. Now, because they are a corporation or limited liability company or public entity, however you want to look at it, you have to, at least in California, have to find or list the person or agent authorized for service. Well, in California, that would be Dara Khosrowshahi. So, when I filed my lawsuit, I filed against Uber Technologies and Dara Khosrowshahi. Right there.
Show me the money.
And because obviously we don't have his personal address, he used his business address. It's up to Uber in San Francisco to get him the information in time for him to go to court. Now, of course, the reason being, and I'll read it first, is why does the defendant owe the plaintiff money? Lost wages due to wrongful deactivation on December 31st, 2021. Failure to follow company community guidelines and company terms of service. Plaintiff is also requesting reactivation and or reinstatement of driver account and app access in order to return to work or driving. And I'm suing for $10,000, and it's right there at the bottom. So it's not that hard. The paperwork is could be a little confusing, but it's pretty straightforward. It asks your information, their information, why they're suing. The biggest thing I want to tell you is you have to have documentation. And when you have them served, that documentation has to be part of the package. Because if you fail to submit what you're going to use as your documentation to the courts, you can't use it.
He has to. By law, you're entitled. It's called disclosure, you dickhead. He has to show you everything, otherwise it could be a mistrial. He has to give you a list of all his witnesses. You can talk to all his witnesses. He's not allowed any surprises.
They have to have a copy of it too. They have to know what you're going to use against them. So, according to what Uber says, I was deactivated for 3 reasons. And I will pull that up in just a second. Well, I'll tell you. I already know what it was. First reason was that there was a problem with identity. It said that I was using a false identity. For 2 years, 2.5 years, I used a false identity. Or 2 years. The other one was a safety violation, numerous safety violations. The third one was the lady that said that she was going to tase me after she had canceled the ride, and I told her to get out of my car. She started cussing and swearing and saying she was all messed up in the head, effed up in the head, and whatever. And of course, me being shot at twice, I went on defense and I grabbed my pepper spray and said, "Get the hell out of my car, or I will pepper spray you." I didn't say I'm going to pepper spray you, and I didn't tell her that I, didn't point and face it at her and threaten her. I just said, "You need to get out of my car, or I will pepper spray you." Of course, she responded, "I'll tase the shit out of you," and et cetera, et cetera. But with that being said, if you guys haven't seen the video, maybe I'll repost it, but it'll be after the court date, and I'll be doing little follow-ups here and there. But one of the things I'm using is my rating. 4.7, 5 stars. This is what I got off of Uber's thing before they actually took it down. So that's part of what I'm submitting. And in here is the paperwork that says my appeal was declined and the reason why. And I'm not sure what this one was for. I violated their community guidelines. And then there's a couple more in here. But anyway, one of the things I am sending to them also is Uber's policy. I think in that one they're stating I breached their community guidelines because I had pepper spray. Well, right here it states that in California it is legal for rideshare drivers, Uber and Lyft, well, not Lyft, but Uber drivers, to carry a taser or pepper spray. And then, of course, we know, and if you're not familiar with it, then I'll explain it to you. The person that I had the issue with was not the account holder. Her sister had called the ride for her, anyways. So, but right here it says account sharing under Uber's policies, and this is from Uber's page. Account sharing is not allowed. You can't share your account with anybody. It says account sharing is not allowed. To use the marketplace platform, you need to register and maintain an active account. Now, the other one says extra riders and non-account riders. Right there by my finger. Extra riders and non-account riders. That says when driving with Uber, no one other than the driver, the requesting rider, and the rider's guest should be in the vehicle. These guidelines apply to our local guidelines, terms, and so on and so forth. If you request a ride or delivery for another adult, you are held responsible for the behavior during the trip and the delivery. So, they don't necessarily say it, but basically what they're saying is either you go with the person you requested the ride for, or the driver, you have the option to decline the ride. Now, that's where names and pictures come into play, because anybody can give you a name. But if you don't have a picture and go, well, that's not the person that's in the picture, you don't know. In my case, she knew the account holder's name because it was her sister, but there was no picture, so I had nothing to go on. All I know is, what's your name, so on and so forth. Okay, that's the name that I have. And that's where drivers can get into a lot of trouble, because we never know who's getting into our car. Passengers are not vetted, and if it is a third party and not an account holder, and something happens to you, aside from this little tit for tat argument that we had, if you're actually physically assaulted, sexually assaulted, shot, stabbed, beaten, your vehicle's damaged, anything that happens, even though the account holder is responsible, legally the person in the vehicle is responsible. And that's where it gets really ugly and dark and sticky, is because now you've got to get the account holder to point to the passenger who they called the ride for, and it's just a nightmare. The other thing, obviously, is wearing seatbelts, and you can see in the video she didn't wear a seatbelt. Threatening or rude behavior. So these are all things I'm sending to them to fight my case. Like I said, my star rating, their all of their BS community guidelines that they failed to follow, and because they are saying, I was deactivated for 4 different reasons on 4 different dates. That's 4 different deactivations, yet I was still driving. I don't understand any of that. That's where it gets really stupid. So my thing is, you deactivated me because of this particular incident on this date at this time, and dash cameras. Now here's another little twist. You can use the footage in court, but you have to either submit it to the person you are filing the suit against, which is Uber, on a flash drive or whatever, or you need to document that you have dash cam footage that you will be using in the legal process of filing or of completing the lawsuit. Because again, if you don't submit that evidence, you can't use it. So I didn't submit an actual flash drive. I just said I have the date and time of the actual dash cam footage. I have a clip that I will be using to to substantiate my case, and that's it. So if Uber wants to look at it, it's out there. They can check out Rideshare Professor's channel. He's got the whole thing on a video. So it's not hidden information. It's readily available to Uber and Dara Khosrowshahi and the entire public. So that's pretty much where you go. Is, again, go to your courthouse, wherever it is in California: San Diego, LA County, San Bernardino County, Kern County, Humboldt County, doesn't matter. Go to your local courthouse, Superior Courthouse, I should say, and get the information on how to file a small claim suit. If you're not sure and you're in California, call. Go to the courthouse, wherever you live that's closest to you, and get the paperwork. Fill it out, submit it to the courthouse. Now, I have a company called Gotcha Legal Services, and their description's down in the link. Well, actually, there's a link and their information below. And they're awesome because they helped me out with getting all this paperwork set up, and they were very, very helpful. And they are in San Francisco. I am not going to tell you what their fee is because it may vary. Am I getting anything out of it? No. I just know that they're in San Francisco, and they've done a lot of these services to Uber Technologies and were very helpful. So I trust them, and that's the one. I mean, you can use whoever you want. I'm not saying that you have to use Gotcha, but I trust them. So again, their link is down there or over here somewhere, and their phone number. Give them a call. Tell them Rideshare Trickster advised you, and they'll help you out. I don't get anything out of it. I just know that I trust them, and that's where I'm going. So, $10,000 lawsuit for wrongful termination against Uber filed by myself, and I'll be going to court on February 21st. Gotcha Legal Services is going to serve Uber Technologies, which in San Francisco, which is going to have to get a hold of Dara. The nice thing about small claims court is, especially with somebody this big, there's a very high probability that nobody's going to show up from Uber. At that point, myself or anybody else, depending, you win by default. The other party didn't show up to contest it. Well, that's a bummer. The other thing is that they can send a representative. Now, they're going to have to pay probably about the same amount of money as you're suing them for to have somebody come down and do all this. But, you know, where they squander money, they don't care. But again, there's no attorneys. And if you are having a really hard time trying to figure out where to go and how to do this, contact the Rideshare Professor, Rideshare, Professor, Professor. He's on YouTube. His link is down there too. He's a very good friend of mine. He's a huge advocate for drivers. He has got an army of attorneys that he deals with. And I'm sure that if you can't figure it out and you really don't know where to go, if you're in California and you need some help and you really, really can't figure it out, contact the Rideshare Professor, drop him an email, and, you know, take a look at a couple of his videos, see what you think, and go kick some ass. I can't wait till the 21st, because whether they show up or not, the reason they terminated me was wrong, hence the wrongful termination, and I can prove all of it. But the more information you have, the better. Dash cam footage. If you have it, send them a copy of what you want to use, or tell them you're going to be using a clip on this date from this time to this time. Dash cam footage inside your vehicle, so it's documented so you can use it. And go get your money. So I hope I gave you some decent information. Again, it's not a lot of paperwork to fill out. It's relatively easy. At least in LA County, for $10,000, it cost me $75 to file the small claims fee, or the small claims suit, and I got a date within a month. I'm sorry, within 2 months. So, you know, depending on how backed up your particular courthouse is, it could be 30 days, it could be 2 weeks, it could be 4 or 5 months, who knows. Small claims usually they usually get through that pretty quick. So again, information down below if you if you're looking for someone to serve Uber or Lyft, because Lyft is in San Francisco also. And again, you know, if I missed anything, go back and check it out. Check out Rideshare Professor's channel on YouTube also. He's got a lot of information. And until then, be safe, be professional, keep it real. If you must, drive on. What they did was wrong. Drivers need to stand up against these companies. I'm just one person, but you know what? I'm standing up against them, and I don't give a shit. Either way it goes, win, lose, or draw, at least I put my best foot forward, and at least I personally let Uber know that I wasn't going to take their shit. I hope you won't either. Until next time.